So, as you can see by the thumbnail, we're going to be talking about, more specifically, this guy.
Where is Omni-Man? Where is he? He said it!
I think the Immortal's in a very, interesting position in his universe. Because before Nolan came to Earth, before Mark was born... Fucking Jesus, calm down. As I was saying before I was rudely interrupted, he is this world's Superman, for all intents and purposes. I mean, come on. Just look at him. Look at his original fucking costume. He's even got the shield emblem. He is just their Superman. Although I can definitely see the Vandal Savage inspiration in both looks and concept. And despite everybody calling him a fraud, he is... God damn! Okay, jeez. He's arguably the most powerful human hero on the show. Considering Britt only has defense, Eve is only good when she's near dead, and while Tech Jacket was good support during the Viltrumite War, she's not really able to match Viltrumite's blow for blow the same way Immortal can. As I'm reading more of this script, though, I realize we're getting off topic. This is not a scaling video, and even then, I think anybody who has actually watched the show and paid attention will realize that for the most part, everyone the Immortal fights is Viltrumite or Viltrumite level of strength. So we'll say, get the power scaling away, he's like 75 to 80% the strength of a Viltrumite. Now that we have the scaling out of the way, we're gonna get to my main crux of the entire video, and that was in the title, is that Immortal deserves his fucking retirement. And frankly, I'm tired of pretending he doesn't. Now, a lot of people do say the Immortal is whiny, or kind of entitled. Steve Reviews said it.
Immortal just seems to come across as a whiny douche.
Now, that take isn't entirely unfounded. I think his voice actor does a great job at portraying that, but it's also taken sort of out of context. Because, I mean, can you really blame him? The only person he thought he could really relate to betrays him, is to the point that Immortal thinks Omni-Man is mind-controlled, and then afterwards he takes L after L after L against opponents that can actually challenge him, which is not something he's used to. Hey, why is footage of Mark on the screen? No, but seriously, Mark and the Immortal have nearly perfect parallel arcs in the first and second seasons. What the Immortal goes through on the first episode of Season 1 is exactly what Mark goes through on the final episode of Season 1. It's the exact same arc. So if you can blame Mark for doing all the shit he does, like staying in the goddamn hospital during the Invincible War, which the Immortal was fighting during, I might add. Quick little headcanon I want to add. I think No Goggles Mark is from a universe where Viltrumites can't feel pain. Because, like, he still takes damage. He's still very clearly bleeding internally, but he's not reacting. It's not strength level. He just doesn't feel it. But that's besides the point. The point is, Mark and the Immortal have the same depressive attitude, you know, after being betrayed by Omni-Man. It's the same arc. Rather than the Immortal's parallel arc with Mark at the park, he has one more arc with another character that's more of an inverse arc, with each character going separate directions, and that is with Rex Splode, the most loved character on the show. Now I think I've found the reason why the Immortals hate it. Because people tend to do this thing where, if a character they like doesn't like another character, they end up making a negative association of the character that their favorite character doesn't like. You can see this through a ton of things. I mean, one of the biggest examples would be like Skylar White, where everything she does is justified to some degree. I mean, Walter White is, despite what people like to think, he is the villain at the end of the day. He's both the protagonist and the villain, but people still like Walter White, so they end up hating on Skylar. I think it's very much the same situation with the Immortal and Rex Splode, where positive association with Rex Splode equals negative association with the Immortal. Although, I do find it very funny that their dichotomy is Rex would rather quit than work with the Immortal, and the Immortal ends up basically in the end giving him and succeeding to him in the fact that he does retire, and their main arcs even really conclude at the same time, because other than a few minor roles later on in the comics, they both exit the story at around the same time. Rex dies, and the Immortal retiring are literally events in the same episode. But the main difference between Rex and Immortal is that one died a hero, and the other, well, you know how the saying goes.
Immortal?
Yeah, see, I can't really go around saying he deserves his retirement without bringing up his villain arc, you know, when he committed actual fucking genocide. Hell, even reverting back to his Viking roots to some degree.
Throw yourself into the sun or something!
Suicide is a coward's escape!
Still very much holds the Viking ideal of death in combat, which is frankly a really cool detail considering we know his first life was of Viking heritage. Now, I've been trying to research this specific part of the video for a while, because I cannot find anyone who has an actual clue on if this is an alternate timeline or the main timeline's future. Robert Kirkman, the guy who wrote it, says it's the main timeline's future. But he also said he completely forgot about the plotline in the first place. So forgive me for not trusting him entirely. That and the show is going to have more than the comic. We know he wants to do more with some other plotlines. Hopefully that's one of them. Hopefully it gets confirmed whether or not it's, you know, like fully in-universe confirmed whether or not that's alternate or current timeline. Fucking goddamn, Roberto. But let's ignore the potential canonicity debate about that. And let's go to actually what caused this, because think about it. Rex Splode sacrificed himself. Rex Sploded. So did the Immortal 3 times, as a matter of fact. At least 3 times in the main timeline, anyway. And clearly he does care about human life enough for each of these sacrifices to be, despite him coming back, genuine sacrifices. And that's not the work of a fraud, that is the work of a genuine hero. Which, as we established, he already was off-screen before the show. Why does all this guy's shit happen off-screen? Villain arc off-screen that only comes in when Mark deals with it. Prime arc that happened way before the show and we see none of it. Can we get an Immortal spin-off, please? Give us like 2 episodes, or an Adam Eve special sort of thing. You know? So, you know, final statement. He probably he deserves his retirement. The Immortal gets far too much flack for such a well-written character. And I get he's not too likable, but he did his shit already. He did give enough to this planet. You know? He gave enough to their universe. And hell, he doesn't even fully stay in retirement. When, spoilers, Robot turns evil, he brings, not only does he go to the fight, but he brings his and Duplicate's kids. Probably not the best option, but they have superpowers, so they're gonna help. So now the time has come where I, you know, do the YouTube thing and ask you to do all the things, you know, the liking, the subscribing, comment your own thoughts down below. That one is actually not too shilling for this one, you know? Commenting down below on a video essay. It's not too much to ask. But yeah, you know, like, comment, subscribe, do all the shit. I'm gonna be doing one of these at the end of every month, so that'll be fun. You know, watch the gaming content I've made in the meantime. In just this month alone, I've made 8 videos as of recording this line. It'll be 11 by the time I put this video out, including this video, 10 if you don't. But, you know, subscribe, watch my gaming stuff in the meantime. There will be another video like this at the end of next month, on the 30th, probably 30th, same day. I'm trying to get to 500 subscribers. My mother said she'll play Resident Evil 7 as a series on camera, so that'll be fun. Oh shit!